and welcome to Two Tired Teachers.
Today we want to talk to you about overnight etiquette at free parking places like stores or casinos or gas stations.
And to answer your first question, which might be where do you find these, there are apps for that. We use Campendium,
RV Parky,
Free Roam, are some that will list these places. But just because they're listed there, the last person to report on that site may have been there 2 or 3 or 6 months ago or a year ago. And so there's some things that we just want to go over, that this is nothing new, and there are a lot of videos out there like this, but we know that a lot of our viewers may be new to RVing and are just kind of curious. We did not use these types of facilities for about 4 years or so.
Yeah.
But we have a lot. So on this, we're on night 7 or something on this trip, and so far 4 of those have been in overnight kind of places. Took us a long time to get here. So the first thing will be
to call ahead and be sure that they still offer free camping.
Free overnight parking, and that's another thing we're going to talk about. It's actually parking, not camping. But get permission, and we can tell you all kinds of stories, but we'll just say that once we had actually driven further than we thought we were going to. We'd driven from Natchez, Mississippi, all the way across to Corsicana, Texas.
That's a long way.
It was a very long day, and so
we pulled into a Walmart that was listed.
We had already called ahead at a couple of other Walmarts, or a Walmart and a Cracker Barrel, but we ended up going further. And so we pulled in. There was already a truck there. We thought, oh, this is great.
We were dead tired. It was about 9:30.
It was about 9 o'clock, I think, when we pulled in there a little bit earlier because we actually bought supper there.
We pulled in there early.
And
it was later.
About 7:30. And it was about 9 o'clock, I think, when the security guard knocked and said, y'all aren't planning on spending the night, are you?
Well.
And so we had to leave. We really, that's...
And had to drive about 45 minutes or an hour further.
I knew where there was a Love's travel stop at Hillsboro, Texas, which was further than we wanted to go. We got there, and it was packed with 18-wheelers and trucks pulling in and out. And so finally I was like, if I can get out of this parking lot. And we went across the overpass, and we're just in a little strip center parking lot. And Marlena had a wonderful idea. She called the non-emergency number of the police department, and a patrol officer showed up in just a few minutes and said,
"This is not. You can't."
Yeah, it's not marked that there's no overnight parking. I've seen others park here before. As long as you're gone before the businesses get busy, you should be fine. I'm going to be patrolling. I'll come by here several times. But bottom line is, we didn't ask permission before we got to the first stop, and that was a long night.
Yes.
So, get permission. Number 2 is follow the rules. If there are rules that are posted, follow those. And we've seen a number of these.
Yes. The place where we are now, we're at a casino in California, and the place we are now has a limit of 5 nights.
That's highly unusual. Let us just say that up front. And we're really near Yosemite, and so we visited relatives today, but they said, I'd stay where you are and go up and see some of Yosemite. But yeah, they allow us to be here 5 nights, so we're not going to exceed that, obviously. But I was thinking of once at Oklahoma City, we pulled into a Walmart.
Yes.
And we pulled where we thought we would be away and out of the way. And it said no RV parking. RV parking is on the south side of the lot, or whatever it was, which to us looked like
it was a better place.
It was going to be
shaded. It was wonderful.
But we thought we would be more in the way of traffic coming and going. But that's where they told us to go park. So it's not up to us to decide. Another place where there's free overnight parking that actually had full hookups. They wanted all RVs facing the same direction. I get that because they actually were giving us hookups. But don't argue and say, but I want my head. That's one of those situations where, no, if you're going to park there, park following the rules that are, if there are rules that are posted. And we'll go on and say, along with that, is if they're giving you any kind of amenities whatsoever, please use the honor box. If they have an honor box there, go on and make a donation, please.
And our third suggestion is patronize the places where you stay. If you're at a Walmart, that's easy. Buy something. If you're at a casino, we could buy coffee inside. We could buy a meal inside. There's a gas station.
We've already filled up a gas once. We're going to be filling up again.
At least once.
And so we are, we want to use a Cracker Barrel, buy a breakfast, or go in and buy something at the store. But patronize the place that you're going to be at. Another is to be a good guest.
Yes.
And what we mean by that is, like here, they actually even provide doggy bags. I have my own. But if you're going to take your pet out, please pick up after it.
Yes.
And while I'm out there walking the dog around, if I see trash, I'm going to go in and pick that trash up. No, it's not mine, but I want the area where they let RVs park to look good and clean, because
you want the next people to get to use this spot. We want the people where we're planning on staying next to be good guests so that we can use that spot.
And like at Walmart, if there are buggies just out in the parking lot, go ahead and push them into one of the carousel things. Be a good guest. And then one that we want to talk about, and that is,
you're not staying at a campsite. And so if it has you parking, we were at a
Flying
J the other night, and the spaces were about 10 feet
maybe
wide.
10 feet wide, yeah.
You could not have your stairs out and a 3-foot slide out on the opposite side. You would be hanging over the lane. We've got
This was a parking spot.
Yes.
And so, realize you're not camping at Walmart. You don't need to put your flags out. You don't need to put your welcome mat out. Plants, things like that. Don't need to. You're there to sleep. And places like Walmart, Cracker Barrel, these places, you're pulling in for overnight. You're not unhitching. Now, Walmart, if you're buying tires or something, that would be a different situation. But, for the most part, you are there to get a good night's sleep, patronize a place, and be on your way.
And if you're going to need a slide out, try and park on the outside with the slide going over the grass.
I mean, even though this place allows us to stay here and we're thrilled about that, I parked so that our slide, we're actually sitting on the slide side, it's out over the grass. There's a little median thing right here where we're out over the grass. So you want to be a good guest. You want to take up as little, you want to have as small a footprint as you possibly can, because the place you're staying at is there to make money. It's a business. It's not a resort. And so, just we're trying to be the kind of guests we hope the people at the next place we're staying at are being, so that that we'll have these places.
Continue to allow.
And one thing I wanted to mention about asking permission, a lot of times it's not that the Walmart or Cracker Barrel or whoever, they don't care if you stay there or not. There may be a city ordinance that does not allow overnight parking or things like that. So, bear that in mind. And if you're the kind of person where you have to have everything completely level, these overnight stops may not be your best option. Many of them, we've been pretty close to level, and that's a tip. We're going to give you a couple of tips here. One is, as you're driving around in the area they want you to park in that's furthest away from the door, parking lots are not going to be just flat, or else they wouldn't drain. So understand that. They're not here for us just to camp on. But like that Flying J, it was kind of obvious I pulled around to make sure that our heads were going to be at the higher end. If there's a lot of list one side or the other, something I've done in the past, if it feels like I'm rolling out of my bed, I'll take a microfiber blanket lengthwise, fold it over about 4 times so it's not extremely thick, but I'll put it just under the mattress. That levels up my mattress. So,
yeah, as long as mattress is level, shouldn't care.
Yeah, I don't care. And so there are some people where they have to be level. Well, this is, you're not going to want to get out all of your equipment and try and get just as level as you possibly can and things like that. You're stopping there to sleep overnight, and that's kind of the point of it. So these places are awesome. They're amazing. Like we said, we've been gone a week and we've only camped in a campground. Well, it was dispersed camping, 3 nights. So we love being able to use these places. It affords a lot of flexibility.
There is one more thing that we want to mention. Walmarts are not going to dim their lights at night, so it's going to be fairly bright. If you have blackout shades, that might work great for you. We have curtains that are lined that are pretty dark, and we put a t-shirt over the window and the door so that it blocks out some of the light.
Yeah, and so, and let's face it, some of these you're going to be hearing highway noise, some of these you're going to be hearing trucks starting and stopping, and, but once again, it's free overnight stop where you're not having to make reservations, you're not having to know for sure how far you're going, and so we have really come to where we use these a lot. It just it gives us a lot more flexibility, and usually they are literally on the road we're going to be on. We're not having to drive 10 or 15 miles off to go to a state park or something. This is right where we need to be. So these are wonderful resources, and it's kind of like that BLM, the Bureau of Land Management, the free places to camp. You want to leave them better than it was when you got there, and hope if we're all paying it forward, hopefully we can keep these places open for years to come.
Thanks.
And if there is anything else that you do for overnight camping that we haven't thought of, read those comments below, and let's all be the best guests we can. Thanks for watching Two Tired Teachers. I faked her out.
She did.